1963 by Niall Boyce. The man cowered before his attacker, his right hand raised to fend off the blow. The knife his assailant was using was familiar to Barbara. For a brief period in her teens, during what her mother called her rebellious phase, she had dated a boy who carried one. It was a flick knife. Its blade was folded in the handle and released at the touch of a button. The blade wasn't fully extended. It stood at an angle, the exposed metal catching the ray of sunshine that punched through the clouds and into the alley. It was the glimmer of the knife that had caught her eye as she walked through the streets that bordered Trafalgar Square, trying to find some sign of life in the silent metropolis. Barbara stepped nearer and looked at the men more closely. Both were perfectly still. The man holding the knife was dressed in a long, dark raincoat and had a black trilby pulled low over his brow. His victim wore a double-breasted pinstripe suit, torn at the knees. His hair, tangled and lathered with sweat, was plastered across his forehead. Barbara leaned forward and touched it. It was hard under her fingers. It was neither warm nor cold, and there was no sensation of dampness. The individual strands of hair felt like firm, unmalleable wires. She turned her attention to the knife. She pressed against the blade, tentatively, trying to close it, but it refused to budge. She applied more force, but it stood defiantly open, as if it had been welded into position. Barbara stood back and examined the frozen tableau in front of her. Who were these men? Gangsters? Spies? A jealous husband and his rival? There was no way of knowing. Perhaps there never would be. Reluctantly, she turned and walked back out of the alley to continue her search for life.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?